We don't care who you wanna ship. We're gonna read your fic and we're gonna give it shipwrecked. Ooh,
Welcome to Shipwrecked, the show where we bring to life the internet's best and worst fanfiction. We are your hosts, Chris, Ryan, and Tanine, and this week we return for our sad but last episode.
Yep.
It's just gonna get the bad news just out of the way. So, as our lovely listeners may have noticed, we haven't been as frequent about posting, and I don't know, life has just kind of gotten in the way.
But don't think we've forgotten about you, dear listeners. We'll always think of you when we are not recording.
Yeah, fondly. I mean, we're fairly certain most of you are robots, but
yeah,
absolutely certain.
Yeah, absolutely certain. I guess, we wanted to bring a final episode in for some closure, and man, I feel like we gotta lighten this up because I'm just being kind of sad.
It's okay, we're talking about the greatest holiday of all time, the best day ever. Right? That's our theme tonight?
Yeah,
yes,
we might be disputed about that because I think it's Halloween, but I think if you ask Ryan, he'd say it was Christmas.
I do like Christmas more, but you know.
Oh my goodness, I thought we were like, there was a dispute on what the theme was. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I took the time to like find this fic and you guys, there's like a fucking in-house dispute? Like,
Yeah, there's an in-house dispute about the best holiday of the year.
I was like, there's no dispute. Ryan, you started this all when you told Chris that she wasn't, it was too early to decorate, but you know what? It's always too early to decorate for Christmas because you should never decorate for Christmas because Christmas is dumb.
Fighting words.
That's right, guys. It's the last episode because Ryan and I actually got into a tiff about Christmas versus Halloween.
That's actually
And
this whole thing.
This is how we're solving it on the air.
The band is breaking up because of creative differences. Yeah, actually, we don't have any creative differences. I'm just in law school. Basically, what's happened here.
Yeah, I'm just, finally discovering life as a young adult.
Yeah.
In my mid to late 20s. This is a lifestyle that I should have been maintaining, 10 years ago maybe, but here I am.
I don't know. In high school, you and I didn't really know that there was life to attain, so...
We weren't sure what we were up to.
Yeah, I'm still not. But it involves a lot of books and readings. Yeah, for anyone thinking about going to law school, it's basically like reading bad fan fiction all the time, constantly. That's what cases are. It's like bad fan fiction of terrible life events. So
Bad fan fiction that actually happened.
yeah, it's actually
Friend fiction.
friend fiction.
Oh.
Yeah, I wrote some friend fiction about you guys.
Oh, that's what our last episode should have been.
Yeah, I should have put friend fiction.
Us writing about each other, getting haunted by ghosts,
Yeah.
being
Just like
asked
me.
if we liked Wes Anderson movies.
We'll make a new episode in like 2 months and just put it on a flash drive and hand it out to people on the street.
I mean, that's what we should have been doing this whole
We
time.
might have got more listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are thinking about eventually doing a new podcast next year, but that's all we can say about it now. So if you are listening and you're like, you know what, I'm not done with these three motherfuckers, then you should go and actually follow our Twitter if you want to stay in touch with us, because having a domain is expensive. So we'll leave the Shipwrecked account up and then probably turn it into our next project. This is really like our warm up. If you're we're just getting ourselves started.
We're just, this is like our jog around the track
Yeah,
before the big game.
this is like our fluffer, the fluffer of podcasts. Just gotta get you like riled up for the main event.
The main event. I don't know why we're hyping up a hypothetical right now, but this is our life.
I mean, we got nothing to fucking lose. So
Yeah, no
I
one's
mean,
even
yeah,
listening to it.
except for bot listeners. What up, robots?
the bots are just like, we're not sure how to,
They're not sure how to handle this.
yeah, they don't know how to, they're not sure about the keywords. Figure it out. So Halloween, we should talk about just like some general, like what everyone's favorite Halloween costumes they've had throughout the years have been. Like
I don't know if
how
I
were
do have
you
a favorite.
first introduced to Halloween? I want the Halloween story, origin stories.
That's right, Ryan. Blow us away.
Yeah.
So I think probably for the first 10 years of my life, I was either a ninja or a Power Ranger for Halloween.
Okay, so the same thing. Love it.
Yeah,
Can you guess what Power Ranger he was?
it was always the same one.
The pink one.
No.
Got it. One.
No.
It was the red one every time.
Oh.
Never got old. Made a lot of friends.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, were you, like, back before, obviously, like, high school and whatnot, did you ever have a, like, childhood costume that you wore every year? Or did
No, bitch. I was always a Halloween queen, motherfucks. I was always fucking serving up looks and just destroying. Ugh. I was a rock star. I was Meg from Hercules.
you-
I was Minnie Mouse. I was, let's see, what other excitably cute things was I? I was the Scarecrow. I was,
Scarecrow.
I was a little gypsy. Okay, yes, but this was like the late 90s, so it was a little racist, but we get that.
I mean, you're
was-
also, like, rounding up.
It's still not okay.
Yeah, it's not, but it's different than, like, Taylor Swift.
Whitey with Mick Whiterson doing it?
Yeah.
I suppose, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Let's see, what else was I? And then as I got older, Charlie Kelly, Mia Wallace.
Yeah.
But I love Halloween. I love everything about Halloween. I love the candy. Well, I don't even eat that much candy, but I love the candy. I love the trick-or-treating. I love the costumes. I love dressing up. I love the spooky movies. I love the weather. It's fantastic. And it's also like, it's not romanticized. You know what I mean? Like, no one's like, it's almost Christmas. Warm, fluffy sweaters and hot coat. Like,
No,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
100%
The way that-
romanticize it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Ryan's had to hear about me romanticizing Halloween for the past 3 months.
no, but you know what I'm saying? Like popular culture wise.
I don't
There's
know.
no-
I feel like our
there aren't any,
generation.
There's no
Halloween.
Hallmark fucking rom-coms about Halloween. Okay, by the way, like, do you feel like Hocus Pocus came back out of fucking nowhere? within
Yeah, I don't
last
know
year?
what happened. Like, it's an amazing movie, but like all of a sudden everyone was just like, "Yo, this is the best Halloween movie ever," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's always been."
I was
I
like,
suppose.
okay, dum-dums.
Yeah,
Sorry that you all collectively woke up from a coma this year.
yeah,
But we've all been... honestly, what happened was the last few years, Christmas hasn't really been feeling like Christmas for a lot of these whitey
Yeah.
McWhitersons.
yeah.
And now they're trying to take away my Halloween and make it whatever it is that they're like up to, because now they're all into makeup and they're like, oh, I'm gonna like serve up some looks. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, let the goblins be goblins, because we're goblins
Wow.
year round.
Well, that's the thing though, is I think that our generation's so obsessed with Halloween that that's why we're like, you know what we could do? We could have Halloween every fucking day because everyone's cosplaying 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everyone just wants an excuse to like dress up and play Fantasyland because like the world sucks pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, and I'm for it. Honestly, who gives
Me
a
too.
shit?
I think Halloween should just be like the most important holiday. It's very secular at this point.
It's honest. It should be a national holiday.
Yeah,
You know what? It should
that's
be
the
a
worst
2-day.
part.
This should be one of the few 2-day holidays because Halloween is a night adventure,
Yeah,
and I need the next day off.
I need like I honestly think we need to go like full blast here, and like you get like all throughout like Dia de los Muertos off too. Like, let's just do it. Like let's go 31st through November 3rd. You just get like a fall break, you know. I think we just need more breaks. Everyone's so stressed out.
That's true. I agree.
Yeah. But we're not in charge, because if Tanita and I ran the world, it would be. I don't know if it'd be better, but
If I ran the world,
we'd probably have destroyed it by now.
no,
No?
we're reasonable people. We would probably have more trees and more horses and more literacy.
Yeah, I think I would have banned like
Wilcox and Jahan Bani 2020. More horses,
Yeah.
more trees,
more literacy, less fedoras. That's my.
fewer fedoras. You know what else? It's like 2 or 3 like absolutely arbitrary laws that like make no sense. Like you can't wear shorts and then pull up your socks all the way up to your knees. Like you know those like where it looks really stupid looking where like the socks
Yeah.
aren't supposed to pull up all the
Yeah.
way to your knees, and it's like just for some reason that's just an arbitrary law that we have.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think people would be a lot less mean to one another if they did that.
You can't
I
be that mean.
mean,
Their socks
yeah,
are
because it would
buttoned up.
keep me
Yeah.
from being mean to them about
Yeah,
having
exactly,
their socks
because
pulled
you'd
up
have
their
to do
goddamn
it
knees.
too. And
Yeah.
also, everyone has to wear their pants up to their waist.
Nah, you can wear your pants up to your ankles for all I care.
I mean, like, up to their waist, like, so they are up above your ankle. You pull them up, so your pants are up to your waist. But up to your ankles. Are you saying people can just not wear pants?
No, that's for pants, but they can just be around the ankles.
It's a pants optional democracy.
Okay,
That's all.
okay. Well, I mean, that sounds good too. Yeah.
That's how we got from Halloween to a pants optional democracy in 10 seconds.
I
Welcome
know.
to Shipwreck.
Yeah. So I was also thinking we should talk about, like, what our favorite moments from the podcast have been. Like,
So like a verbal clip show.
yeah,
Push.
a best of, a highlight reel.
Except it's all just us talking.
I know mine is probably the Gossip Girl episode
I
where
did like that
Denise read the story that then Ryan put smooth jazz to.
Yeah, I was trying my best. Why were all of that? I think I read a total of 6 sentences and it took 25 minutes.
It did. But you had like some very edgy, like Carter Bazin, Chuck Bass. But I think you also referred to him as Chip Whiskers.
Chip Whiskers!
Chip
I
Whiskers!
I loved that. I loved the Garfield and the Guy Fieri thing.
Oh,
The Garfield,
yeah.
Garfield.
Ludalude!
Then he goes to us.
Ludalude!
Fuck
Yeah, he never responded to my follow-up email. So Ludalude, if you're out there and you're listening to this,
It's too late and you ruined it.
I'm still interested. So I want, like, if you have any drafts that you would like me to read, it's really all I want. Like, if you want to do a charitable act, then you could just send us some more
Just
stuff.
FYI, listeners, we don't have a Patreon, we don't have a Kickstarter, we don't have a GoFundMe. All we ask on this sad earth is for Lulu to contact us
That's all
and
we
cherish
want.
us the way that we cherish them.
We don't need monetary compensation. We just need.
We
You
just
know.
need some classic tude from the Lude.
Oh, bless Ludaloo.
No.
We need it. Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Well, you took mine. Like, you just
Which
named the
ones?
2 best episodes we had.
No, there's some other good moments.
Um,
Well, apparently Ryan doesn't think there were any other good moments.
I had to edit them all, so I'm seething. hatred.
What about like one of the many times we made Tanine cry/die?
When you wrote her the fic?
Oh, one of the highlights for me was my birthday fic
Aww,
when Jeff Goldblum came to love me
yeah.
at my haunted hotel with the Broltergeist.
Poltergeist. I still feel like I should finish that. I think the Poltergeist has some.
Yeah,
I
potential.
seriously think that Google Doc friend fiction would have been a better thing for us to have read out loud every week.
Friend fiction would have been great. Probably should have done that. Well, cheers, I guess. Well, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about the podcast before we read our closing fix?
What?
I can't do this podcast with one person, guys.
You could try.
I didn't hear it at all. You're like, before we start reading the fics, I was like, what?
She's getting very emotional about our podcast.
No, I'm just saying that. Like,
Not.
whatever, guys.
Ryan, you're being a bad podcast dad.
Yeah.
Ratty.
I'm just doing what I can.
Ratty.
You want to start us off with a fic then?
By the way, the 19-year-old in my screenwriting class, a different 19-year-old, thinks that she just loves the fact that we call you Ratty. Or I call you
I was like,
Ratty.
I
Ratty.
don't think people call me that.
I like that you've talked about us to your screenwriting class. I kind of warms
Oh, of course.
You're like, yes, my very sophisticated podcast hosts.
No, I don't mention the podcast.
Never
That is
do.
Are you
that's for
ready?
that's for therapy, not for screenwriting.
I think I'm noticing why this podcast didn't take off.
Why?
Because none of us advertised it.
Well, yeah.
Because again, like we mentioned, we don't invite people to come watch us warm up. You come to watch us go to the game.
You both should be excited for our next project. We will have. I'm sorry. We will have been warming up for a year. I had to get that out. What was that one thing I could not say on the podcast?
Support.
Suppose.
Support us.
Suppose.
Support us.
Support us.
Please rate and review. No? Alright, well, I want to hear what Ryan's fic is because it's been awfully quiet.
Yeah, so this one is one that I found a bit ago, and I just always wanted to read it. And it's
Good.
spooky enough, I guess.
Well, fuck us up, Ratty.
Yeah, this is like get to read whatever you want night.
Also Halloween.
Yeah, let's loosely. Alright.
My chair creaks with every move I make.
It's creepier.
It's rough out here. This one's called Not Obvious, and it was written for a forensic science class.
Well, that's scary. Anytime someone writes something for a class and it ends up on. Oh no, and you said it's a murder fic?
Yeah.
We should probably send this fic to the police. Like, just. be honest.
It's a good
Oh
one.
yeah, this is my class assignment.
Just saying.
Writing about my murder fantasies.
Anyway,
Keep going.
Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse were found murdered in Goofy's living room today.
No.
Don was laying on his back while Mickey was a few inches to his left, face down. No fingerprints were found, suggesting that the murderer wore gloves. The couch that was once 5 feet away from the television set was now smashed in. The rug and couch suffered minor electrical burns, suggesting the television was on. Feathers and locks of hair in different lengths were strewn about the place, suggesting a long struggle. No blood was found on the victims or the surrounding area. Go figure. Timeless characters as they were, the reported deaths were possibly between 8:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. yesterday. Mickey Mouse left his home around 7:30 p.m., stated his newly widowed wife, Minnie, saying that he went in the direction of Donald's home after a brief argument with her. He kept screeching in that already high-pitched voice, asking where all his nephews were coming from, as if I know, before she started to cry at that horrendously screechy tone of hers. No more information can be taken from her at this time. Daisy Duck, Minnie Mouse's best friend and loyal girlfriend to the late Donald Duck, took things more in stride as she tried to seduce one of our interrogators in her drunken state.
What? So Daisy Duck is drunk and she's trying to seduce an interrogator?
Sounds right.
That does sound right. You've seen how big that bow is?
Are she and like Minnie Mouse gonna be like Thelma and Louise? I have so many questions.
Well, there's only about 300 more words.
Okay.
A little later at the corner, black hair not belonging to the mouse was found in Mickey's gloves. Large bruises were found also under his black fur and Donald's white feathers, especially around the necks. Further investigations showed the windpipes completely crushed by large, powerful hands. When our interrogators asked Goofy, the only witness there, didn't call the police or 911, he replied, "Gosh," while furiously rubbing his slightly burnt gloved hands together, causing a small down feather to float off. He continued to repeat to himself, "Not getting enough screen time," till his lawyer came in to clear things up. And by clearing things up, I mean, my client will not speak to you at this time. The down feather was later collected and bagged. The neighborhood watch in Mousetown is considered one of the lowest. Everyone's windows, if they weren't open already, were left unlatched. Someone seems to have keys to everyone else's house. Not that keys were necessary because no one locks their doors. Bystanders excuse this behavior, saying that they need to keep themselves open for the Acme cleaning crew because when they come in, they know they have 30 minutes before screen time. When asking if Goosey had any screen time, some said he hadn't seen screen time in months, while one extravagant Goofy fan mentioned he had a recording in his house yesterday afternoon, but quickly adds, he didn't do it. Even later, the labs identified the long hair as belonging to a really tall anthropomorphic dog. You've got to be kidding me, my partner stares. The end.
What is Mousetown?
I think it's where they live.
Gross.
I like that you said 911 instead of 911.
Oh gosh. Now when I'm going at million miles an hour,
Nothing
I'm in
upsets
this
me more
zone.
than nothing upsets me more than when elderly people called 911 911. I was like, never in your life have you ever referred to 11 as 11. What the fuck is wrong with you?
So apparently this was also a CSI House crossover fic,
Absolutely.
Okay.
even though none of the characters were named.
I mean, that's fine.
No, it's real. I feel it. I definitely got that vibe.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe right now.
100%. You didn't even have to tell me. Like, honestly, Ryan, I feel like at this point you're just being repetitive by you telling us that, like, because it was so clear.
Yeah, I was,
Definitely the most obvious part of your fic was how easily it paralleled those shows
Yeah.
and, like, the blatant references.
yeah. Yeah, I totally knew about it. Burt Macklin, FBI.
Also, the way that you wrote his name on our chat tonight, Chris, like, you made him sound like he's like the cleaner, like Kyle McLachlan. Is
I
that
don't
his
know
name?
if I spelled it right. It kind of looks like,
Isn't it Macklin?
Yes.
oh, probably. I
Looks
think
like
I wrote
Bert
it like
Mashlon.
Scottish.
Yeah, you made it look like
Macklin.
way nice. You made it look like a guy. You wrote it in a way that made it look like he's a guy who gets up in the morning, takes a shower, and like combs his hair to one side, and he parts it to the same side every day. Meanwhile, like Burt Macklin, like BURTMACKLIN, I think forgot to shower again today.
Probably. Well,
His middle name is Tyrannosaurus.
I really wanted to elevate the character.
I'm reading the Wikipedia on Burt Macklin, and apparently it's Burt Tyrannosaurus Macklin.
Oh, Burt T. Macklin.
And then,
With
oh no, that's Johnny Karate, whose brother's name is Jonathan Karate.
no.
Well, spoilers.
What do you mean spoilers? The show's over. Get it together, guys.
Ryan's not done with the last couple episodes.
Freddy, what
We
the
are
fuck?
on season 7 now.
Chop chop, guys.
We're working on it. We had to record a podcast tonight.
You're so close. So, Tanine, you want to read a fic?
Oh, ha 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 ha, do I want to read a fic? Welcome to Hell, fuckos. This one is called All Hallows Eve, New York. I know I shouldn't read the dash, but I wanted to read the dash. It's the last episode, so haha. Okay,
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah. Yeah, have you cleared all of your orifices?
I'm cleared.
Okay.
Some say that on All Hallows Eve, the borders between this world and the next are much weakened, and that on this day, the night. Sorry. I'm starting over.
Oh, you tried. Next.
Some say that on All Hallows Eve, the borders between this world and the next are much weakened, and that on this day and night, the spirits of those who have passed away would return to the mortal earth. Harry Potter, Master of Death, is better than that.
No!
Spirits either lingered on Earth, becoming ghosts, or as they went on to, as Albus Dumbledore liked to call it, the next great adventure. They didn't move back and forth between the two. Once they had left the mortal planes for the afterlife, they couldn't just decide to leave it, not even on this night, unless they were summoned. Of course, the fact that there were far more lunatics willing to summon a ghost on Halloween did give some credence to this idea. But there was an actual direct truth in these folktales as well. The lines between this world and the next were always weaker around this time of the year. But not between this world and the afterlife. No, between the different worlds that make up all existence. With all these facts taken together, Harry really shouldn't have been surprised when he was suddenly displaced from the grocery store and found himself in front of a manically cackling man in a very dramatic outfit. Heh! Yes, yes, now do you see, you foolish mortals? I have conquered death itself, and it shall do my bidding. By becoming the master over death, I have become the master of all.
Okay, I
Yeah, that's...
am a little terrified right now because I'm just picturing you dressed up as a little goblin.
Oh, you mean like my general look?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that's weird.
Yeah, that's great, buddy. A red and gold robot said reverently. The raving madman's reply was rather predictable. Silence! You have lost! The mighty Avengers failed, and the world shall fall to my feet!
What the fuck?
Harry blinked and decided to ignore the obviously delusional man for a moment to fully take in the situation he suddenly found himself in. They were in a park that was surrounded on all sides by a city skyline. An elaborate circle had been painted on the grass with a suspiciously red fluid. Considering the mental state of the man who he had assumed made it, Harry figured that he didn't want to take a closer look at it. The park was empty beside him, the guy dressed in elaborate robes that only Albus Dumbledore would consider appropriate wizarding attire, and a group of 5 people outside the circle. The man dressed as an American flag started some sort of brave, self-righteous speech that sounded like something he himself might have said back when he was still Dumbledore's little soldier and believed the side of light was incorruptible and would always triumph over dark. Luckily, this man seemed to be wiser to the way of the world than Harry had been back then, and than Dumbledore ever was. Okay, loving the Dumbledore hate right now, because
Strong.
fuck Dumbledore.
Dumbledore fucking sucks.
Dumbledore's ass.
He's not good at taking care of children.
He's not good at doing a lot of things. Except for growing beards. Boy, that guy could maintain a beard.
Hey.
in both ways. Look straight into the camera. Instead of waiting for the crazy guy to suddenly decide to repent, he actually followed up his words with actions. The blue, red, and white shield. Blue, red, and white? Who wrote this? It's red, white, and blue.
Yeah, that's very un-American.
Blue, red, and white shield went flying at the bad guy, and as if that had been the cue for the others by his side to act as well, this attack was followed by a weapons blast, an arrow, a quick succession of 2 sleek knives, and a very large hammer, all of which bounced harmlessly off the magic shield that covered the summoning circle. By the way, I'm reading this whole thing because you guys need to be filled with as much hate as I am for this fic.
I just do it.
The stereotypical evil laughter made Harry look at the other man in the protective circle in disbelief. He didn't think anyone actually did that outside of a film. Okay, also, Harry doesn't watch movies, does he? Do they watch movies in Harry Potter?
No,
Like, he understands what movies are,
Okay.
because he grew up in a muggle house, but like...
basically, they just have Instagram, because all their pictures move.
Yeah, they have little boomerangs.
Yeah, everything's a boomerang, and it talks to you. It's like a talking boomerang.
Gross.
Yeah.
That man had not just gone around the bend. He was going in circles on a roundabout. When the lunatic was done laughing, he straightened himself and pointed imperiously at Harry. Now hear me, Death! We will start a realm of endless terror on this mortal world, and as your new master I will rule all! For now I will give you these, mortals. He waved his hand dramatically at the Avengers. Take them! Harry looked from the crazy blokes and so-called Avengers with a slightly disturbed look on his face. Well, that sounded wrong in every possible way. And then, well, yeah, I don't really swing that way either, replied the robot, which was weird because he didn't think robots swung any which way. Dismissing the issue as something he definitely didn't want to ponder too deeply, Harry turned his sights to a more pleasant subject. He looked thoughtfully at the woman in a skin-tight outfit. She was beautiful, but she looked dangerous as well. I did always have a thing for redheads, though. The knife thrown his way never reached him due to the magical shielding, but the deadly glare made his way across in its force. The robot actually chuckled. If I wasn't sure she would actually kill me. A quick look at the woman palming her knife presumably made the thing's self-preservation programming kick in, because it wisely chose not to finish that sentence. Tony, maybe you should stop courting death, a small, unassuming-looking man who was the only one who hadn't thrown a possibly deadly object at the would-be ruler of the world asked with a touch of sarcasm. Ah, the robot answered, pointing at his supposed friend. He made a funny. The man armed with a bow shook his head. Seriously, Stark, what are you, 5? When the Gryffindor-colored robot turned to the man, okay, sorry, are you fucking kidding me right
Sorry,
now?
that's my new Halloween costume. I am gonna be a Gryffindor-colored robot.
Why aren't you just like Quidditch Iron Man?
Oh no.
Quidditch Iron Man. Oh no, I can already see like the deviant art think of that.
So, when the Gryffindor-colored robot turned to the man, probably to argue, the American flag spoke up again, taking charge of this ragtag group of people. We have more serious things to worry about than Stark's mental age. Death, impenetrable barrier, maybe we should focus on that first.
I thought you were gonna say death and penetration.
This is exactly that kind of fic. Yes, about that, started Harry. Everyone tensed and ready for battle, but instead of attacking the Avengers, the wizard turned to a summoner. I'm afraid you must have misinterpreted whatever mystical whatsits you used to summon me here. The man opened his mouth, possibly to start a well-reasoned discussion of the fact, but there was even a higher probability that the Roman would start raving or cackling again, so the wizard wisely decided not to give him that chance. Harry quickly continued his explanation, his voice having taken on a slight lecturing aspect that made him sound like a teacher dealing with a particularly dense child. From what I understand, you meant to summon death and become its master and then fulfill all sorts of nefarious plans. The wizard waited patiently for the crazy guy's vehement nod before he continued. But you see, you didn't summon death and become his master. You summoned the master of death. Which I really, like, part of me wishes that he had, like, taken off his robe and, like, turned into the Undertaker and just, like, slammed into a table and, like, just made this, like, easier for all of us.
The mess.
But anyway. Sorry, where was I? The villain opened and closed his mouth a few times in some sort of stunned disbelief. A common mistake, Harry said kindly, even though he had never been mistaken for death before. Actually, he didn't think he really looked the part either. He was still wearing casual clothes because he just been grocery shopping. He wasn't even wearing his Halloween costume yet, and that was probably a good thing too, he mused, since this situation was enough of a mess as it was. Then as an afterthought, he added, and I'm never really going to be able to call anyone master because that would be immensely disturbing. That done, Harry gave himself a satisfied nod and calmly walked out of the summoning circle. Even without watching, he could tell that the magical barrier, which had been softly glowing while he was inside it, could collapse behind him as his power left it. Moments later, the armored, muscled blonde with his hand knocked the crazy guy unconscious and was lecturing the man with his loud and archaic speech. Most people would have done the lecturing before knocking someone unconscious, but who is he to judge? Harry didn't always exactly follow the rules either. The rest of the Avengers surrounded him with an atmosphere of awkward and weary tension. Is that a bag of candy? The robot finally asked with a hint of incredulity. I was grocery shopping. A bit late, but, he shrugged. A strange silence fell between them. So, are those, like, Halloween costumes, or you just... Harry trailed off there, not knowing how to put it. We're the Avengers, the walking, talking American flag informed him. Right, Harry replied, incapable of keeping his eyebrows from rising just a bit. He didn't have the slightest clue what kind of sort of club these Avengers were, but he didn't think anything but Halloween could excuse that costume. Of course, he didn't say any of this. He cleared his throat, nodded politely. Well, that's good. Robot let out some sort of muffled snort and raised part of his helmet, revealing a human face. Oh, thank Merlin. Harry pursed out before he could stop himself, and a small embarrassed blush started to bloom on his face, but he was still very much relieved that the disturbing issue of robots having sexual preferences would put to rest. That would have bothered him, even if he tried really hard not to think about it, and not thinking about something was hard work after all, so he was more happy to forego that. The dark-haired man seemed taken aback for just a moment before a self-satisfied smirk over his face. Oh, so you've heard of me. I get that reaction a lot. Of course, most people say, thank God, or even, oh God, please, but they're usually women.
No.
Right. The wizard stared at the man for a moment longer before turning to the others. Well, if that's all, I think I'll be going now. Going where? The man with the bow asked wearily. Home. Well, grocery shopping first. Again. Huh. Did I just steal this when I was magically ripped away from the store? Harry wondered as he gazed thoughtfully in the sweets in his hand. That would mean there's actually some truth in what my uncle tell everyone. Who knew? Oh well. With a loud crack, Harry Potter disappeared from the world as abruptly as he had entered it, leaving the Avengers staring in silence at the space he had just occupied. Finally, Tony decided to share his unwarranted opinion. Well, I liked him. Author notes. I wrote a sister story with the same basic premise as a Harry Potter / Naruto crossover.
No. Like, I think it kind of works, but no.
Everything about that drove me up the wall, but...
I don't know, I think my favorite thing still is this Gryffindor colored robot.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm reading this fic. Because...
And I just, like, to expand on that, I guess, like, Bumblebee from Transformers would be the Hufflepuff colored robot.
Got worse. And the Green Goblin.
Wait.
Can we find all
Okay.
the robots? Okay?
Okay.
So,
It would have to... So, blue and, like, gray.
Yeah.
what's
R2-D2?
R2-D2 is the Ravenclaw robot!
From DC, the bug guy, Beetle something.
Okay,
What
what would be the Slytherin
Beetlejuice?
robot?
The Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah.
Green Goblin's a person.
Yeah.
Well, he's got armor on.
I mean, like, a robot,
also.
though. No.
Iron Man's not a person.
A greenish robot.
A greenish robot. Why am I blanking on a greenish robot?
Green and gray robot.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that out loud for myself
Okay.
over and over again.
Yeah,
so I
like,
can
think
remember.
about it like green and gray robot. Green and gray robot. Oh. Could be
I can't even think in my mind about any fucking robots.
No,
right
I think it's Pint Size from Questionable Content, the webcomic. He's basically like just a little porn robot. So,
now. Ew.
well, no, he's just like an annoying like robot that's obsessed with porn. I guess that is a better way to phrase it than a little porn
Wait.
robot.
Like Henry Fondle from BoJack Horseman season 5?
Oh, it's exactly like that. That's also basically a Slytherin colored robot.
It's not.
Isn't it green?
So I realized I was thinking of Green Goblin from the Spider-Man movies. When he was just
Yeah.
and he's wearing green armor.
Yeah, because here's the thing, when you said Green Goblin, I thought of Green Goblin from the comics, and I was thinking of him with like the purple little like
Yeah, no,
hat
it's
and like the
definitely
goofy
not it.
ears and like the little socks, and I was like, Ryan, what are you
Yeah.
talking
No, I meant
about?
Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. That's
I'm trying to think. Green and gray. Okay, things with robots in them. Sci-fi movies, but I don't know of any like green and gray robots from like Star Trek. I can't think of any ones off the top of my head from Star Wars. Because we already picked R2-D2 anyway. Let's see. No robots in because the only thing I'm thinking of that's like kind of greenish is like the thing from Shape of Water, and I'm like, that's not a fucking robot.
Yeah. That's not a robot.
Okay, it'll come to me while we're still talking. So Chris, you should read your fic.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a choice.
Read both.
Well, okay, so one is like, so they're both Harry Potter fics, and I'm like, well, if it's the last fic I'm gonna read, it's definitely gonna be a Harry Draco fic. So I can either read you like a lighthearted Halloween party fic, or I can just read you. It's not explicitly Halloween, but I am gonna be Draco for Halloween, so it counts. It's the type of fic that I would like read if I was looking for fics not to read on here. It's like a hurt angst fic.
Oh my goodness.
So, do you guys want to read? Let me give you the titles. The first one is on fanfiction.net. It's The Halloween Party by Smirking Muse. And this
Are you fucking kidding me with this fanfiction.net?
no, and the second one is an archive of your own fic, which is called Wildfire by Whiskey and Wildflowers.
Okay, both of those sound awful. Ryan, it's up to
I want the
you.
wildflower one. That one sounds
Okay. All right.
Good pick.
All right. I need to get in character for this because it's very angsty. All right. I'll be reading. Give me a
Go,
moment.
Weenie, go. So there's a few Decepticons that are green.
Okay, well, that
You
works.
can just choose any one of those.
All right. This is Wildfire by Whiskey and Wildflowers. Summary is: your life is burning down around you, and you're all gonna do is watch. That's what it says. And the notes are, so, this was inspired by the fact that my entire city is covered by wildfire smoke, and it's like a dystopian nightmare out here. Alright. This is an experiment in second-person point of view. It's an infidelity fantasy piece, with lots of mentions of when Harry died in the woods. Sectum semper angst, a lot of what ifs. This won't be everyone's cup of tea, so heed me and the warnings in this note. Alright. It's not that you wish things had been different. Certainly you don't. But it's just that sometimes you do. Sometimes when you're bored at your ministry job, bored with your wife, stuck sedentary in a life you chose but really didn't, you start to wonder what it could have been like. The guilt of missing it makes your stomach lurch. It keeps you awake at night. How's... How sick are you that you miss being hunted, miss being on the run, miss starving and scrounging and fighting and fleeing? At 17, you were brave and fearless, and the passion rolled off you in waves. Now you sit at a desk. You do paperwork, for fuck's sake. Wizarding Britain's most famous modern war heroes reduced to filing expense reports. You never wanted that either. The titles and the accolades and the attention. That doesn't mean you don't see the irony at all. The last time you truly felt alive was when you made the decision to die. And what does that say about you? It doesn't help that when you see him, you miss it even more. What could it have been like if you'd taken his hand in that waterlogged bathroom instead of slicing him to ribbons and making his blood run in sticky streams all over the dirty tiles? Would you have taken him with you, huddled with him in that tent where it was cold and food was scarce? Would you have been would you have shared his body heat? Would you have let him show you just how grateful he could be? The thoughts you only allow in this dead of night when everyone's asleep? When she can't clock the shame in your expression or the flush in your cheeks? And you know he feels it too. Beneath those high-necked robes, the pristine black outfits, and the gleaming white hair, you know he wishes things were different. Maybe he wishes they'd won. Maybe he wished he had come to you on his knees and begged for help. Either way, you know he's not happy either. You can't think about him on his knees, but you do. You had to think about him all the time. He's on his knees in Slytherin green, moaning while you pull his hair and he sucks you off. He's on his knees in the forest, and it's cold, but he's hot, and it's right there. Yeah, it's right there. And instead of your wife, you're thinking of him, and you don't know why. In your mind, he's hot and nice and electric around you while she's asleep next to you in your cozy house with the yellow door that's warm and lovely and stifling and suffocating. She smells like flowers, but you're sure he smells like wood smoke, like wildfire. And you might hate the life you died for, but you're not going to do anything about it. And it doesn't matter that you want to run your tongue along his pulse point, to feel his heartbeat, to know that he's alive, after all the blood that he's lost, all the blood you made him lose. It doesn't matter that you're too afraid of being disappointed, and now the only person disappointed is you! It doesn't matter that you want to know how his... Alright, it just gets really graphic for the last part, like even more graphic than it was. I'm gonna skip like a couple lines, and then I'm just gonna go with you don't want to be the only one who feels it, but what you're really gonna do is nothing at all. Your life is burning down around you, and all you're gonna do is watch. That's the end.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, Ryan made a really good point. And he said, why is this Billy Eichner? Why is this Craig from Parks and Rec?
That's who I was
Which I said,
channeling the whole time, so good.
and yes, I have a condition. It's called caring too much. Also, I have eczema.
It's my life, honestly.
This is my friend, and she drove me here.
You're wonderful and I love you!
You're full of talent, and I admire you.
Exactly. Oh my god.
That was a good time.
Well, I needed to leave it with something, really from the heart. Because I care so much.
Billy Eichner's your
So.
spirit animal.
I mean, he really is. To me, in law school, unfortunately. Well, guys. Parting with such sweet sorrow.
Actually, partying is such sweet sorrow.
Hey, bro!
We're all introverts, except for me. Someone should love me.
I'm trying.
Hi. Also, I'm thinking Slytherin is all the shit in the Matrix. The Matrix.
I'll buy it.
Slytherin is just the Matrix.
I feel it. It's deep.
Just like the Matrix.
Deep. Yeah, so deep. But yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure serving as the host of Shipwrecked. Right, guys?
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Looks like the pleasure was all yours. I'm kidding. I had a great time.
Yeah, I was actually checking. Our
Uh,
first episode was the 9th of November last year, so we almost made it a year.
We almost made it a year. That's pretty good. We had a full season.
Everything about this journey was excellent. From being asked to be a guest on the show to then being asked to be a permanent member of this team.
And then I like how we just never actually ever ended up with another guest.
No,
Nope. That was the way you guys sneakily introduced me as a member of the cast.
Yeah,
For
it
the
was
tryouts.
totally sneaky. Sometimes you just nail it on the first audition. What can I say?
What can we say?
Yeah. Well,
But
just to give some more on the fic I just read, I just looked at the tags, and the last tag, which is the part that I did not read, was "Come play if you squint." So.
I will not squint. You sound like a
I love
cheat.
you guys, but not enough to read like a "Come play" scene. So.
Yeah, rip our after hours one with just really raunchy.
Well, you know,
Can't always get like
we'll have a
a fun
party.
day at school by XX_ICOC_XX.
Oh
Never
man,
got to read that.
that's my username. Why would you share it out loud? Don't dox me.
It was a Shrek and Sonic the Hedgehog pic.
Oh yeah,
I don't even remember when I saved it.
that was like that time I got that message from that guy. Was like, why did you leave? We both have same interest in Sonic porn.
Oh no. Never go on Discord.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Right.
Well, actually, no, our next podcast,
Do I get to read a House Elves Needs?
we can make a Discord server for it, and then our fans can come talk to us. So we can make a bunch of bots, and then they'll listen to the podcast,
Exactly.
and then talk to us.
everything about this is good.
Yeah, A+.
I agree.
I love it. Everything's like just validating the shit out of me right now.
How dare you?
You're the best and I love
You're
you.
the best. I love you. Oh my god. I should've read the whole thing in that voice. Gosh.
Also, I'm really upset that you guys aren't coming for Thanksgiving.
I'm really sad too. I'm sorry.
We should.
I think Brian's the saddest about all.
Yeah.
Isn't
What?
that right, Brian? That's right. That was the response I was looking for.
Yeah.
Love you.
It never changed.
Never change. Wouldn't if I could.
I don't know. We're just like, we're at that point where, you're like, you want to say goodbye, but you have to still walk the same way to the car as someone else. So you're just kind of like filling it up with talk before that final goodbye when both of the cars are actually in eyesight.
Yeah, it's definitely like the. So, you think you're gonna be like watching Hocus Pocus anytime this year?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, callback joke. Hey.
Fun back though, I haven't watched it yet this Halloween season, so I've only got like
I've only
48
seen
hours.
it
What? I've
Yeah.
only seen it once? I
maybe.
thought Hocus Pocus was like Die Hard, like you watch it every year at Halloween.
No, I watched The Crow on Devil's Night every
Oh,
year.
I do like The Crow. When is Devil's Night?
Then tomorrow night.
Oh,
It's the night before
I could
Halloween.
be down. We should just all get on the phone and watch The Crow.
Can we do that?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Is it online?
Probably.
I don't know. I bought it on Blu-ray years
Jeez,
ago.
rabbit.
Because, as you all know, Filmstruck has now been canceled, so we cannot stress the purchase of physical media more in this trying time. But I also would like to stress buying tickets and going to see these old art house films in art house theaters, keeping that tradition alive.
I would also like to say that people should do that. But also, if you have like a place that does like discounted theaters, like dollar theaters, you should do that too.
Oh yeah, and I would recommend signing up for preview screening options. You often get to see a free movie. Sometimes it's not finished, but you know, I ended up seeing John Wick 2 like about a year before it came out, just because I've been signed up for these preview screenings for so long now.
Is that just like a LA thing, or do they do it?
No, I used to do it in Seattle all the
Oh,
time.
sweet.
Yeah. I'll send you some info.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Not to you,
Yeah.
bot listeners.
No. Yeah. Don't dox us, bots.
But anyway, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But here's me closing out.
Take us home, Tanine.
Alright, well, thanks for listening to our final episode of Shipwrecked. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, but keep your suggestions to your fucking self, because this show is over, you can reach us at Shipwreckcast on Twitter. Or you could visit our website, but it may not exist anymore. So I would highly recommend reaching out to us via Twitter.
Yeah.
This is Tenine, Chris, and Ryan saying goodbye for a final time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.